Okay, this is Ken Aston. We'd like to ask you about the offsides rule and how it came about and why we use it. Can you tell us a little story about that?
Well, first of all, a little correction, Gary. Not offsides rule. There's only ever one offside, and perhaps I can explain why it has to be in the singular and never the plural. And we have to go back in history to understand what offside means. The game was developed in the schools not only for the physical recreation for the boys, but to teach them the rules of life. One of the rules of life is that man earns his bread with the sweat of his brow. And in soccer you score goals with the sweat of your brow. Now, always in these games in schools, just as you had when you were a boy at school, there was always a little mother's darling, a delicate little boy who never wanted to be in the rough and tumble of the playground, the rough and tumble, the hurly-burly of the game. He always shied away from it, you see. And these boys in the game of soccer who used to shy away from where it was all happening used to hang about near the opponent's goal. The law originally called them sneakers, and then the law called them loiterers. And the law said that a boy, a player in that particular position, defined in the law, was out of his team. He was out of his side. He was off his team. He was off his side. He was offside. And a player out of the team can't play. It's the same as being off the field of play. You can't join in the game or influence it at all. Now, a player in the position defined by the law, off his side, out of his team, the punishment really was that his team had to play with 10 men for that period of time. But suppose this loiterer, this sneaker, who was out of his team, tried to take part in the game, tried to participate, tried to influence the game, or an opponent. That's when the referee would blow his whistle and say, "Hey, you're not playing, you're not in the team in this moment of time. You're out of your side, you're off your side, and you tried to play, didn't you? You no business to." Free kick. It's rather like putting a spy behind the enemy lines. If he stays very quiet, doesn't draw attention to himself, he's quite safe. He doesn't get punished. It's only when he starts to become active and draws attention to himself, then they pull him out, put him up against a brick wall and shoot him. So get the feeling of what offside originally meant, what the phrase means, and it will help you enormously in interpreting offside decisions in the game. And as I said at the start, Gary, now you see why you can never say a player is offsides. He can only ever be out of one team, one side, offside.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.